Hey guys, welcome back to part 6. So I realized in part 5 I was staying way too far back from the mic. So I'm going to try and stay about here, I think. Somewhere around this range. Seems like it's going to be fine. It's just, the door just leads out into like a sharp drop off.
Easy there, boy. I'm almost done.
Hey,
Number
Rusty,
drop.
right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here. Actually, I'm sorry about this. Would you mind grabbing the registration form from the desk? It's just across from Bucktooth Charlie.
Okay, sure.
Seriously, Al, you can't just go and meet a kidnapper.
Yeah.
Those situations always end up in disaster. You gotta talk to the cops.
She's my wife, and it's my call. Can we talk about this later?
No, this whole thing Listen, you hit your head. I mean, geez, Al, come on. You gotta understand how crazy all this sounds. If you're trying to pull a joke on me, freak me out, it's working. Ha ha, let's have a laugh on Barry. Well, you had me going there real funny, Al. You can quit it now.
I think this is the form you wanted.
And here are the keys. Okay, you're all set, Mr. Wake. Glad to have you staying here.
Thanks. Can you tell me how to get to Lover's Peak?
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too.
See, I like that I play through this. Like, this is a really mundane thing, but I appreciate that I get to play through
You're
it.
asking me to believe that you shot a dude who went poof into thin air, a guy who was bulletproof until you pointed a flashlight at him. You hear that from people who end up spending time in padded rooms, strapped to their beds, wearing white shirts with too long tangled up sleeves, and eating a healthy diet of pills. Al, you make cruel jokes about people who believe that kind of stuff. You're the skeptic. You gave me an hour-long lecture on homeopathy last month. What was it? If there's no proof, it's pure bullshit. Period.
Guess the laugh's on me then.
Al, come on! I mean, okay. Okay, maybe something weird happened to you, okay?
Homeopathy.
Well, thanks for the heartfelt vote of confidence.
All I'm saying is you gotta throw me a bone here, bestseller. What would you think if it was me? There's no way you should be going out at midnight with a gun.
No one asked you to come here, Barry. Either work with me on this or go straight back to New York. Your choice.
Get the keys and get in the car.
That's just crazy talk, Al. Al? Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry! They'll kill her! This is not a goddamn
That was a
debate,
really
Barry.
quiet laugh.
I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay then. I understand. But you're my best friend and I'm worried that you're not right in the head. Tell me what to do to help and I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
Just be careful with the natives, Al. These yokels are dangerous. Everybody hates a tourist, or it'll be Deliverance all over again.
Deliverance.
Bless you.
Aha. The eagle-eyed Vera finds the coffee thermos. I'll take that thing. Nice fire effects. Looks like this fireplace has never been used before. Great developer, my ass. I find it interesting that you can turn the light switches on and off when they don't really at least right now it doesn't serve a greater purpose. currently doesn't serve a good purpose. You never know. They could have that mechanic as a thing, or like have them like exploring like houses and shit.
I'll wait here, Al. I'll hold down the fort. I'll be with you in spirit every step of the way, Al. Locking the door now.
Locking the door. Okay, thanks Barry, whatever. That's super swell of you, I'm sure that'll go over great. Some well. You didn't even dig it very deep. Ah, coffee thermos on the back porch. That's exactly where I leave my coffee. Beside my empty jacuzzi. Hot tub? Is there a difference? Is hot tub and jacuzzi just the same word for the same thing? Is it a thing that is two things? Or is there like a separate? Or like the jacuzzi specifically the ones that have like all the fancy jets in it, and a hot tub's just like a hot tub?
Barry had never gotten along with Alice, but he knew Alan loved her with an almost frightening intensity. And now something had happened to Alice. And here was Al armed with a gun and saying things people got put in padded cells for. It was as if his friend had experienced a massive psychotic episode and was now totally disconnected from reality. It scared the shit out of Barry. Barry had the keys to the car he rented. It wasn't a long walk to the visitor center, and it wouldn't be any use to me in the forest.
It's fair. It's fair.
I knew I should have gone to the cops. This wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done, but I was still angry with Barry for trying to talk me out of it. These people had called me right in the sheriff's station. The cops wouldn't scare them, and they had Alice.
It's true. They, like... Fucking birds, man. Why do birds always have perfectly timed dramatic jump scares? Oh my god, they let me in here. Hi, I'm invading your cabin. Listen to your radio.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As promised, our very own Dr. Nelson has just parked his rear end in the studio. Doc, what's your Deerfest plan like? My plan?
For
Sound a
deers.
lot more organized than I ever seem to manage.
I know that fucking feeling. You seem like an organized person. Fuck off.
No plan, really. Just taking the atmosphere. I'm getting a little too rickety to do much more than that, you know. Oh, tell me about it. No sack race for us older gentlemen, huh? Yes, exactly, Pat. But I'm gonna check out the parade, of course. And I'll be one of the pie contest judges, too. Well, that takes a different kind of constitution. Oh, yeah, it's my kind of exercise. Now, Doc, seriously, you're in pretty good shape, though. You're the outdoors type. I know for a fact you're an avid fisherman. That's right. Matter of fact, just caught a heck of a largemouth bass early this morning. But you're not taking part in the fishing contest? No, not this year. See, Pat, I'm just not that competitive anymore. Now I just like to take my time and enjoy the peace of it. It's no fun if I need to worry about what I'm catching, you know? Well, considering your track record, the participants are probably pretty happy you feel that way. Well, Pat, that's kind of you to say.
I like the little radio shows and stuff like that. I always appreciate this shit in games. But also depends how they do it. Like, I love world building stuff like this, and it makes sense in the context of this game why it's like this, but it's also kind of one of those things where, like, it's kind of a pace killer that I just have to stand in that room and listen to it. You know? It's just like, oh man, I sure like standing still for the next 5 minutes. Listening to this, I'm like, no matter how interesting it is, like that's one thing I appreciated about BioShock was, like the audio logs were there, you didn't need to listen to them. But if you really wanted to, you could. You could just appreciate the fact that they were there. So you're just gonna decimate this. The old boob tube.
Crime and punishment. The cancer and cure of civilization. But some crimes are impossible to punish, especially in Night Springs. Tonight's episode.
The man in the mirror is gonna be a pink flamingo. Go what? Go or John Mary.
He's a weird one.
So, you're confessing to killing that guy, huh? Why?
Had it coming?
Yeah.
Had it
Why
come.
would you do that? I mean, you're a nice guy. Normal. Took a kid to a soccer game. So how come at the game, you pick a guy and, quoting from the arresting officer's report here, assault the victim's head area repeatedly with the weapon of choice being a pair of bare fists? Wow. That sentence really flows, huh?
Being a pair of bare
You're not a
fists.
literary type. Okay, so you mess him up.
So did kill
But
him.
why? Who was that guy? We couldn't ID him. Why would a guy like you do him like that?
I didn't like his face.
Well, you must have hated it, because you really went to town there. I mean, there's no way to tell what he looked like. No ID on him either.
That must be difficult.
But then we ran the fingerprints. Got a match. Your prints. Identical.
Huh, how about that?
Your son said you were wearing a white shirt when you took him to the game. But the white shirt is on the dead guy.
It's plenty red now.
You won't get away with this.
Do you really think that's in any way relevant to me? I had plenty of time to talk to my boy before the cops arrived, you know? He won't stop screaming, am I right? You think he's ever gonna be okay? I left my mark. Believe me.
You bastard.
What? You gonna shoot me? What's the point? I'm going to prison. You got me.
I don't understand any of this.
And you never will. Don't worry. Maybe you'll see me again, Agent. Maybe in the mirror.
Alright. Well, I mean, that was a little fucked up, but that's par for the course for Remedy. Remedy really likes these little TV short shows. I mean, I always enjoyed them in fucking Max Payne. Scattered. I kind of clipped one and they're like, fuck it. Master trail. Wheelbarrow. An attack wheelbarrow. Expect the unexpected. Do not feed wildlife. $100 penalty. I got the word penalty and not fine.
Rose knew that Rusty was in love with her, and she liked him too. She liked him a lot. He taught her to dance, and life had certainly taught her the value of a man who was gentle. He treated her well, made her smile, made her feel good. But Rusty wasn't the prince of her dreams, and that tended to underline the unbearable truth. She was no closer to that Hollywood magic than he was.
So she wants to be famous. She wants to get close to Alan so that maybe like his fame will rub off on her. Which is generally like kind of a true thing.
The air in the visitor center was heavy with an awful smell, as if some rotten drowned thing had crawled up from its grave. Rusty kept coughing blood. My eyes were drawn to the twisted shape of his broken leg. The attack had been vicious. Max whined in his cage. Rusty's eyes were wild with fear and terror. He gasped. Mr. Wake, it happened just the way it was on that page.
I'm sure this was the premise of a...
The vision left me weak. This was no head injury.
Rusty, hang on! I'm coming! Please, help me! Help me!
Come on, old man Rusty.
Can you hear me? Anyone? Please, help! Back here. I'm back here. Hey.
Mr. Wake?
Oh, hell.
It happened just the way it was on that page. I found. Came true. It knew. So dark. It'll come back for me. You must... The lights. In the office. I have the key.
Okay, Rusty. Hang on. I'll be right back. Whatever did this couldn't be far. Rusty had found a page from the manuscript. It would help me understand what had happened. Shh. Good boy.
Poor Max. And that's not even a hard one. That dog's getting out of that cage. Isn't the grizzly bear outside here?
The only way to make sure that Rusty was safe was to get the power running and the lights back on. The visitor center was sturdy,
Here
but
it
the
is.
impact turned the front of the building into splinters. Rusty was thrown across the lobby like a rag doll and hit the far wall hard. It didn't hurt until he tried to move and saw his leg bend the wrong way, felt the broken rib stabbing him on the inside. Rusty howled in pain and fear, suddenly afraid to die alone.
Well, Rusty. Click. There we go. Just let me unlock the bottom of this door handle.
At the last instant, I changed direction and threw myself down. The axe splintered the trunk of a tree. I stumbled into the pool of bright light. My lungs burned. I was too exhausted to move. I tensed as I waited for the killing blow, but it never came. I raised my head. Nothing moved in the darkness beyond. For the moment, bathed in the cold light, I was safe.
See, the storytelling on Alan Wake I think is interesting, like mixing like the game's own narrative with
I was too late. Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on.
Rusty! Rusty!
The ground was covered with oily patches that looked like liquid darkness.
Okay, well, we'll get rid of all these, I guess.
Hunters need hunting licenses.
Okay, there we go. Now that I got a second, I'm gonna check by this gate over here. Just make sure there's nothing like sitting on a ledge or something. Wonder if they ever explain where the, like, secret box stashes are coming from. They're still locked. Just not gonna let me in there, eh? Let my curiosity kill me, man. Oh, nice. Those bodies just...
Something had torn a mammoth-sized hole in the wall.
Well,
Please don't feed the animals.
good now.
Fishing
Is only permitted
for those
visitors.
who purchase a park
Fishing.
license. Obey
The park ranger's instructions.
at all times.
Rusty? Rusty, no!
Never. Two bears and wolves never approach any other closer than
25 yards.
pets must be leashed.
At all times.
Never leave your pet It is
Against the law.
to remove any
Natural objects.
or historical artifacts from the park.
That's interesting. So, like, they seem to just, like, always quote stuff that's, like, from their Monday, day-to-day life. I'm sorry, Mr. Park Ranger. Okay. It's, how is this? I like how there's, like, infinite boxes of, like, revolver ammo just lying around. It's so weird. Like, this game gets me on a few levels, because it's like they clearly wanted to kind of make like this horror experience, but like I feel like the way they decided to like pace the game with like its writing and stuff, it doesn't quite get there. Like, fuck, like, infinite boxes of revolver ammo.
What? What the hell was that? I saw from the window. I saw something.
Forget about it, Barry. It's just me going crazy.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. You're not crazy. I wish you were crazy, but you're not crazy. Ow, be careful.
Stay in the cabin. Don't open the door for anyone. I mean it.
Also, maybe some flashlights. If you have a flashlight, make sure you shine it at things, because while they're surrounded by darkness, they die. 5 minutes later, Al, I tried shooting him with bullets, but he just fucking ate them, I guess. Yeah, Barry, you gotta, like, bullet them less. Now, I'm just saying. Why didn't you tell me that sooner, Al? Because I am a dick. Clearly. Doesn't count. Okay.
In that last instant of consciousness, Rusty thought about Rose. He was older than she was. Rose was barely out of her teens, but she made him feel young and forget what a train wreck his long-dead marriage had been. He still wore the ring. He'd been waiting for her to tell him to take it off. Now she never would.
Jesus. He's having an affair with, like, this young girl. Creeper. Not that kind of creeper. Okay. I think we'll call that good here. Hopefully this is a good distance from my mic. Because I was like, man, my first couple episodes I was way too close. My last episode was way too far. Trying to find a good one where I'm like speaking clearly is hard. Where it's like you pick up my voice very clearly when I speak, but then not like far enough away to be like Ah, he's too quiet. So I don't have to, like, ramp up my voice volume when I'm... Anyways, you got what the fuck I'm talking about. If you like to stop, please do all the things, and I'll see you in the next part.